this. It's live. We're live. Hilarious. Me walking to my chair. All right. Let's see. I need a pick. Here's a pick. I don't need this microphone. So see if anybody shows up at my new time. This. See if anyone's here. Oh, we got 8 viewers. Analytics. 10 viewers. Good evening. Hey, Dennis, we're earlier for you. How's this? Is this better? Good morning. I don't think so. Well, now it says 1. It says 12 here and 1 here. I don't know what any of this means. Let's see here. I'm gonna. Let's do minor. Do this. All right, so my windows are organized here. So we've got it's 12 now. Oh, people they meant 12 o'clock. I'm like, wait, what time zone are you in? Are you in New York right now, Dennis? Okay, so so what we're going to do, I'm going to give you a link, and if you can, or if you can't print it, you can always just draw up a page of frets yourself here. But at least look at this. And again, I don't know why it's a GIF, but I guess a GIF can be a... But this is what that link gets you to. And so it's basically a 24 fret neck. And we're going to use a good portion of that, probably 20 frets, 21 frets or so. And we're going to write every E, G, A, B, and D on here, okay? And when we do that, same thing is going to happen that happened on Wednesday last week when we did it with the A minor pentatonic. All of the pentatonics are going to magically appear on your fretboard. And so the cool thing about going up a fifth is that now instead of pentatonic number 1 being right here in the middle of your neck, it's going to be way up here or in open position. So you're going to get to see the pentatonic shapes laid out in a completely different placement, not in a different order. 1's still going to be here, 2's still going to be here, 3's still going to be here, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time for people to get on board. I'm actually had to set my alarm. It woke me up. I thought, oh, there's no problem. I won't sleep to my alarm, and I totally slept to my alarm. So. Well, hopefully I'm not interrupting your dinner, Dennis, but you can always eat in front of me. I don't mind. No one should ever eat alone. David is here. This is a better time for you, David? Terry Holmes, where are you? Oh, Mississippi. Okay, good to meet you, Terry. Is this your first time? Oh, Helms. Sorry, Terry Helms. Is this your first time here? And Tony Howell. So we got some new names. See what happens when I go on at 9 o'clock? Of course, where's Pepper? Is Pepper here? Oh, are we gonna miss out? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Bonnie's not here. And Jim. Uh-oh. I don't see Bonnie or Jim. They're gonna be mad. I know they know. All right, so let's see. Again, okay. So I'm going to tune this up. I'm not sure where it is. This is a weird tuner. This is a Planet Waves tuner. And it's not very, I don't think it's very, it doesn't make any sense. I've never liked this tuner. I'm not going to use it because I don't like it. And plus I think it's broken. It's set at 4, so how did it get set to 441? I don't want 441. Okay. That may just have to go in the trash can. I wish I could get more of these. These are great little tuners. The IntelliTouch. I'm not sure who made them. Maybe just IntelliTouch. I'm getting hip to the Snarks. The number one reason, I'm probably going to do a video on the Snark just because I think it's really funny that it will fit on any headstock. And like I said in my video last week, the Loudon has a beveled headstock. And I can't tell you how many times like I've had one of these on there and it just went slid off and flew across the room. But this one is actually really, really good at that. And then I love the fact that you can rotate and spin and everything. So, but it'll fit on the oud, which is not easy, and it'll fit on the lute, which is not easy. So I'm trying to think of any other weird instruments that, I don't know, may not be worth doing a video on. Why is I gotta raise this a little bit maybe? All right, so let's see wait, I said, let's see. Oh, Tom Robinson. Hey, there you are. Tom Robinson is asking, so if we have the key or root, then we move to that for the pentatonic. Yes. But keep in mind, there's like if you're going to be playing E minor pentatonics, there's E's all over the fretboard. So there's at least 2 E's in every one of the pentatonic shapes, and in some of them there are 3. So as long as one of those, like in this case, pentatonic 1 is going to start on the open E or 12th fret. Early for the fingers. Or here's one here too, pentatonic number 4. And there's another root there. So yeah, but if you want to play in G major, which is major pentatonic, then you just find the G's. That'll help you. But yeah, you'll eventually just memorize them all. I'm sure it's not impossible. Harder as we get older. Although I'm doing Duolingo, and I'm actually pretty amazed at how well that software, how good that software is written, so that it reinforces mistakes. You know, it helps you fix mistakes. It's pretty brilliant. You know, if I were to develop, I mean, I think some of you have been experimenting with one of those softwares, the guitar teaching softwares. Probably does the same thing, where you plug your guitar into it, and if you keep messing up, then it'll keep working that one issue. I think that's really great. Clem is back in the house. Good to see you, Clem. Jan, 8, so 18 o'clock, which is 1,800 hours. So I'll go to 1,900 and something hours. So I'll go like 100 hours. Also, I have a video. Did anybody get notifications about a video? Well, I saw a thumbs up on it, so I guess somebody did. Alex and I did a video, 2 videos yesterday, and I'm posting one tomorrow. It was one that I got asked to do by a couple people after we did the capo video. And it was about harmonizing with 2 guitars using capo. So we talked about that. It's actually, I think it's a really good video. I used basically the caged method to explain. And so... oh, you use Safari? Yeah, I use Safari. I'm using Chrome for YouTube thing because Chrome is a Google product, and obviously the YouTube streaming thing seems to work better through it. Good, awesome. So I will try to be here for the premiere on Tuesday at 9. And same time, and you know, we can chat while it's going. So I think that's how it works. I've only done Premiere once, and the last time I did it, I was the only one watching. So we'll see. But this is before COVID, so I was kind of turned off of it, and I thought, well, why would you do this? You know, I'm like sitting here watching. It's just sad. Or maybe there was one person in the house. Whoever that is now insulted. But okay, so if you haven't seen the link, I'm going to post it again. If you get a chance, print this up. So this is what it is. We're going to put a little dot for every E, G, A, B, and D. If you want, you could use different color pens. If you do, for the E's, you might want to use blue, because that would also be the root for a blues scale. And then you could use whatever color for the G's, which would be the major. You could use a different color for each one if you wanted to. Often what I would do is just put an X through the blues roots and circle the major roots. Excuse me. I haven't eaten yet today, so that's probably why. We can get started. Let me see how many we have. I think we got enough. Oh yeah, 25. That's enough. I've lost a couple of you. We got to 30. I lost you. People are like, is he just going to talk? Well, that's pretty much what I have to do. You know, it's funny because I feel like I could host a radio show after doing this, because it's like, in a radio show, at least you get commercials. I wish I had a button here I could say, give you guys a commercial so I could go to a bathroom. That would be freaking dope, actually. They should do that. I should recommend that. Oh, insert ad. Wait, what? Can I do that live? There's actually a button for this. Oh, wait. I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to wait till 30 minutes, and then I'll do it and see if you guys get an ad, okay? See if it mutes me for a minute. But of course, you guys, it'll all be skippable ads, so I can't really go to the bathroom in 5 seconds. This is not going to happen. I can't even get to the bathroom in 5 seconds. I've already worshipped at the altar of St. Arbuck's, yes. I love that. I don't know if I came up with that. I can't believe I was smart enough to come up with St. Arbuck's. I'm sure I heard that somewhere. Yeah, and thank you, B Kitty, for hitting the like button. That really helps. I think that really helps the YouTube algorithms to promote videos. They don't really promote these live stream videos. These are pretty much you just have to look for them. Hey, Max is in the house. Yeah, so that's what that is. But okay, so I'm going to have to put my guitar down, pick up my Pumping Nylon book or whatever book I've got to write on. I got my pen right here. And then when we're done, I've got some hard oud I've got to record. I'm trying to figure out the best way to finger it, because oud's not tuned like a guitar for one thing, and it's fretless, so it's like really hard to hit, like do chords on oud, but it's all chords on this thing, and I'm like, I never like to say I can't do it. It's much to my detriment. Okay. So what we went one string at a time before, right? Okay, so I did post it. Okay, so if you can't print this up, then go ahead and when I'm done with this, I'll scan it and post it to our Discord, which I need now to grab the link for that. If you're new here, you can join the Discord. I'll give you an invite. And the Discord is where I post all the homework, or not so much homework, but just paperwork that we do. Oops, no, I want a permanent one here. Okay, this should not expire. Oh, Tom Robinson. Well, I mean, Tom, Tom is asking. So if you hit the G on the A string, does the shape begin there, like 1 4 1 4? Not necessarily. It's not quite like it. The shapes don't. I mean, you'll see as we go how. Oh, funny. I hate that, Dennis. Mine just printed on one page. Yeah, you'll see as we go. But like for G minor, you could play at the 3rd fret. You would start on the bottom string, G minor pentatonic. And so the pentatonic shape number 1 would just lay right there. You want A minor pentatonic, it's the same shape, but just up 2 frets. B minor pentatonic. We've already done A minor pentatonic. C minor. And so the fingering on that is 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4 1 4. You were thinking maybe you're thinking backwards maybe. I don't know why you came up with 1 4 1 4. But pentatonic shape number 1 won't change. It's just you just move it. That's the beauty of guitar. You learn one scale shape, and as long as there's no open strings involved, it's 100% movable. And so I always say you essentially have learned 12 shapes or 12 scales. And there's a total of 5 of these. We've been working on these now about 10 lessons. So if you go back to the 92nd or 93rd lesson, I think you'll find you'll find me talking about the first shape for about 2 lessons or 3 lessons, and then the second shape, 3rd shape, 4th shape, 5th shape. And the numbers that I've given these, the whole pentatonic number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Those are my numberings. So those are just ways to reference them. So hopefully, but Tom, you'll see stuff kind of magically appear when we do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the low E string, and I'm gonna mark every E, G, A, B, and D. Okay, so we're gonna start with the open E, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put a circle there, like a 0. So that note's in play. In fact, all 6 of those notes, we can do that right now if we want. But I like going up one string at a time because, to me, it magically reveals. It's a little bit more like, oh wow, it's like a magic trick. It magically reveals the shapes rather than if we did the shapes. Okay, so we're going to start with just one string at a time. We're going to work all the way down. I'll tell you when we stop. Okay, so the next note we need is a G, and I'm still not seeing Pepper or Bonnie or Jim. Uh-oh, they're going to be so mad. Okay, so G is at the 3rd fret. Then we need A, that's a whole step up, so that's the 5th fret, so mark the 5th fret. And then the 7th fret is B. And then we need D, B to D is a minor 3rd, so we go up 3 frets, so we mark the 10th fret. And then we need the 12th fret, which is E again. So if you didn't end up at the 12th fret, you did something wrong. But that's so far what we've got. We're going to keep going, though. Because we can go, especially on electric guitar, we can easily do pentatonic number 1 at the 12th fret. Number 2 will be at the 15th fret. Number 3 will be at the 17th fret. We'll probably stop there. Okay, so 15th fret is G, 17th fret is A, and then we'll go one more to the 19th fret and hit B. Now, if you wanted to keep going, you totally could. As in, we can. But the only reason I'm not going to is because most of us don't have 24 fret necks. And then I don't want to get too crazy busy. It's already going to be pretty crazy when we're bracketing all the shapes. But there are all the notes in E minor pentatonic and G major pentatonic. Okay. On the E string. And when I was playing a second ago, okay, so I'm gonna play this track. I'm going to play in E minor, and I'm going to use all the pentatonic shapes. But you'll see that I use my knowledge of one of the strings. Okay, so I'm using my knowledge of and this goes back before I knew that the cage method was even a thing, okay? So some people go, are you using the cage method? Probably not. I mean, I know the shapes are there, but I'm really just thinking the 5 pentatonic shapes. And sometimes you can go up like you know, I mean, here's 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 again. But I might go. So my point here is that even this information is super valuable because you can play a pentatonic scale on 1 string, and you will do that when you're going up and down the neck. So hopefully you can hear that guitar. Hopefully it sounds like a rocking guitar and not like this direct, lame. Bzz, 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 bzz. I don't know what it sounds like to you. I never watched the videos afterwards. So excuse me. But yeah, so even this information here is super valuable for kind of getting around and navigating. Say you only knew pentatonic 1 and the notes on the E string. Well, you can make it work. Not recommended. Okay, so let's do the A string now. A is one of the notes, so we already put a 0 on the A here. Okay, right there. So we're going to continue from there. After A is B, and B is at the 2nd fret. So put a dot on the 2nd fret, and now you can see that the bottom 2 strings of the pentatonic 1 is starting to emerge. They're in open position. You see that? Oh, good. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Tom. Shepherd lives again. Yeah, were you there, Dan? Yeah, we actually did. We did 3 services this weekend. So much more work than filming them. It's so funny. And then the thing is, we don't do any music at the end of the service, so we're allowed. They let us take off after the worship, and then we stick around for one of the services. But well, the 9 o'clock we stayed, but we. Yeah, they didn't want us hanging around. Like, the less people, the better. So, in some ways. Okay, so on the A string, we're at the B note on the 2nd fret. So at the 5th fret is D. Then the next note is E, and that's at the 7th fret. Then the next note is G. That's a minor 3rd, so we're going to go up to the 10th fret. And then at the 12th fret is A. And then we're going to go to the 14th fret. Okay, so there we have 1 octave. So if we didn't end up at the 12th fret, we made a mistake. And by default, you could put dots on all these positions here at the 12th fret, but don't do that if you don't have to, because I like it kind of revealing itself in a linear fashion here. Okay, so that's an A, so we want to go up. The next note is B. That's a whole step, so we're going to go 2 frets up, and that's 14th fret, and then the 17th fret. That's that's D, and then E is the last one, and that's the 19th fret. We could stop there. Okay, so now we have, and you can see the bottom 4 notes or the bottom 2 strings of each of the pentatonics starting to take shape. Okay, pentatonic number 1 here, pentatonic number 2, 3, 4, 5. It's it's nice. E minor is a great one because the pentatonics, the 1 starts at the bottom and you work your way up. So Jim Horst is in the house. Good. Hey, Denise Jacobs. Oh, it printed. Oh. Wait, if you don't behave on Discord, I'm going to hit you up with a band hammer. Yeah. Yeah, everybody be cool to each other on Discord. That's kind of the rule. It's a loving community, and don't get too loving. So that's also another rule. All right, so now we're gonna work our way up the D string. Okay, so let's see. after D is E. So we got the open D string there. Okay, fourth string is open. So E is up a major second, and so that's, or a whole step, same thing. So that's going to be the second fret. And again, we can really start to see pentatonic 1 taking shape. Okay, can you see pentatonic 1 on that open position? Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so so second fret is E. We want a G. That's 3 frets up, so go to the 5th fret and put a dot at the 5th fret. And then we want A, so put a dot at the 7th fret. We want B, put a dot at the 9th fret this time. And then we want D again and put a dot at the 12th fret. So our dots should be at the 2nd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 12th. And if you're not at the 12th, you messed up somewhere along the way. Maybe use a pencil. So, okay, next one we want from D, we want an E. We go up from D to E is a whole step, so that's 14th fret. And then we want a G, and that's 3 frets. So that would take us to the 17th fret. And then after G is A, and that would take us to the 19th fret. And there's the bottom 3 strings. And again, you know, we're doing this fast. We're going fast. I know that. I apologize. You always rewind. This is really great way to kind of build them all and start to see the shapes up and down the neck, to start to see the notes on one string, because I could use any one of these strings and play the scale on it, or use it as a transitional or pivotal tool to get to one of the other shapes. Okay, now we're on the G string. No junior high jokes, please. All right, so open, G is open, and then the next note is A, so that's 2nd fret, so put a dot on A. B is the next note, and that would be at the 4th fret. Then we want D, which would be at the 7th fret. And then after D, we want E, so we go up 2 more frets, and that's the 9th fret. Then from E, after E is G, and that would be at the 12th fret. So we've gone a full octave at this point. We're going to keep going. G after G is A, and that's at the 14th fret. So put a dot at the 14th fret on the 3rd string. And then we want B again, and that's going to be at the 16th fret. And then the last one we'll do at the 19th fret is D. So it should look something like this. Actually, it should look exactly like this. Okay, now we're on the B string. Let's see, we're not quite to a half hour. I'm going to try that insert add button there and see what happens, okay? Again, I don't know what's going to happen on my end, so it may not say, hey, you got 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, great, finally, you know, get away from these kids. All right, so the B string is open because it's part of the E minor pentatonic, all right? And the next note after B is D, so up a minor 3rd. And then D, after D is E. Good luck, David. All right, and then so at 3rd fret now, E is the next note, and that's at the 5th fret. Then G, which is at the 8th fret. And then 10th fret is A. And 12th fret is B. And some of you are writing the letters, and that's a great idea too. You can totally do that. I should have done it that way, but I kind of like this is cleaner. So, but yeah, you know how important I think it is to learn your fretboard. For electric guitar players, I think that's the most important thing to know. And once you know it, you know it. Once you know it, you know it. That's the great thing about it. Like with the most important thing for acoustic players, I always say, learn as many strumming grooves as you can. Well, you'll never finish learning those because somebody's always coming up with a new groove, or there's a new drum pattern that you want to imitate or something like that. Usually, I get most of my groove ideas from drummers and guitar players, obviously. Okay. All right, so we're at the 12th fret on the B string. We're going to keep going. So after that, that's a B note. So after B in the pentatonic is D. So that's going to be at the 15th fret. After D is E, which is at the 17th fret. And after E is G at the 20th fret. So now we have the only one that's sticking up there on the 20th fret. And that will be the only note doing that, okay? And we have one more string left, and it's the E string, and it mirrors the low E string. So if you want to just copy and paste, but I'm going to go ahead and talk through it. But if you want to just copy and paste the left to the right, you could do that. However, if you're going to write it out one at a time with me, we can do it that way too. So open E, start with that. The next note after E is G, and that's 3 frets up. So we go to the 3rd fret and write a G, like that. All right, now you can see all of pentatonic number 1. I can even put a bracket around it. There it is, P1. Buffering. Okay, I think it's okay now, unless it's on YouTube side. Drop frames. I didn't notice it going to the yellow or whatever. I think we're good. Yeah, we definitely have less viewers. My hope is that we get more Australian viewers and stuff like that. Okay, it's good now. Yeah, I see green now. Okay. So, E, G, and then here's, you almost forgot. You're late, so you did forget. You're going to have detention, Gary, after school. Okay, so after G is A, and that is on the E string, that's at the 5th fret. After A is B, and that's at the 7th fret. After B is D, and that's at the 10th fret. After D is E, and that's at the 12th fret. Okay, then we keep going from there. And now we've got all the shapes represented, but we're going to keep going. 15th fret is G. G to A is at the 17th fret, and then the last note we're going to place here is B at the 19th fret. So I'm going up to basically to the 20th fret on this. All right. So now we have all of the pentatonic shapes, and you can start to see them if you're familiar with them. I bracketed pentatonic 1. All right. I'm going to bracket number 2, which is right here, from the 2nd fret to the 5th fret. Put a P2 there. And again, my numbering system is just based on the order. Pentatonic 1, then pentatonic 2, pentatonic 3. It's not any, you know, don't go to your teacher and go, oh, that's pentatonic 2. He'll be like, what? Okay. Pentatonic 3 is the one that's spread out over 5 frets. Or, 5 frets. So, and it only has 2 E's and 2 G's in this case. So it's kind of the weak link, so to speak. These are all like links in a chain. P3. But you still want to know they're there. That way you can use them at least to get away from them. Okay, there's P3. And then P4 is right there. And P4 is kind of a nice one. You know, it's got that E right here. I put an X through that E, which is like that bar, you know, the double bar chord or the power chord or whatever. So it's in the middle of the neck, you know, kind of like pentatonic 1 was in A minor. So E minor pentatonic. There's E. I'm adding a note, but doesn't. It's right there in the meat of your guitar neck. And that's pentatonic number 4 in E minor. Okay? And it even it plays like pentatonic 1. It sounds like pentatonic 1 in some ways. So it's one of the better ones. Oh, and we've got their, command. Have we had any sips? I'm sorry if you guys are getting dehydrated. I'll touch my face. It's the first rule. If I touch my face, which is apparently a COVID no-no, we take a sip. And my original goal in that was to try to not touch my face so much, but now it's Pavlovian. So now anytime I'm thirsty, I touch my face. So I'm touching my face more than I ever have. So that didn't work. as same as truth is true for most of my ploys. Okay, so pentatonic 4. Okay, so this here from 9th fret to the 12th fret is pentatonic 5. Remember, pentatonic 5 is the one where all of our pinky actually had to play a note on every string if we played it in the most correct way. Now, here's another thing. You could make copies of this, and you could start circling boxes, and you could start seeing box shapes and things like that on there. Okay, and now pentatonic number 1 is at the 12th fret to the 15th fret, so we box that. And you can see pentatonic 1 showed up again. Yeah. Frankie likes Rule 13. It actually always stays the last rule, right, Gary? Anytime there's a new rule, it inserts before 13. Okay. And I'm going to keep going. Pentatonic 2 is here. Might as well. 2, because you can keep seeing it. And then we just have pentatonic 3. All right. So I'll scan this right now and post it to the Discord. And I'll post the Discord link so it's fresh. And it is early, though. Don't think I don't feel it. Hopefully I don't show it. All right, we're no buffering right now. I see we got a good stream. There we go. It's PC-based application here. Auto scan. Okay. And then I will go get. Let me go to that page I'm going to upload it to. It goes to my Tom's Bookmarks. That's where I put it. All right. It's like an episode of CSI, right? Okay, exit. Save as PDF, and this is E minor, I guess you could say. Let me put it in our folder. We have a special folder for all this stuff. Put it there. Save as PDF. Okay. I could scan the blank one and put it in there. Yeah, why don't I do that? So I'm going to print up another one, a blank one. Right? Or, yeah. Oh, wait. No, I should be able to download this. Let me see if I can download this. Or is it just going to download the URL? I don't want the URL. I want the... Well, hold on. Let me do this first. Okay. I'm going to the Discord, add a new thing. Okay. Choose. Yeah, it's so weird that it's a... so these are the pentatonics in E minor or G major. It did show up. Let me see what it looks like if I upload this. It says it's so weird that it's a GIF. Oh, we're buffering. Dang it. I see the buffering. Oh, it is. It is less than 3. I mean 103. I'm changing that now. Save. All right. Let me hit this add button and see what happens. Okay, you ready? No. Are you guys getting an ad? Let me know if you guys get an ad. Okay, it's not buffering where you are. I just noticed it went down into the red. My wife is Zooming school in the other room. So, okay, no ad. So it's just going to insert an ad there on the create highlight video. Oh, interesting. Insert stream marker. Huh. All right. Oh, we got back up to 30 there. That wasn't bad. No ads. Okay. Hey, Tony. Good to see you. Wish my nephew Tony would join. He's probably working right now. he's went to Berkeley for guitar. It's so cool. My nephew, he was like, I think what happened was he was just so blown away by Alex getting so good on guitar that he was like, I want to start playing guitar. So we sent him one of our guitars, and so it'll be on the playback then. So you guys are lucky. So maybe I'll do an ad. Get bucked up today. Go to St. Arbuck's and get bucked up. Okay, so it looks like that GIF loaded. Let's see what happens. I mean, so it's there. So I think you can print it up from there, but it looks weird. Who knows? Let's see. Yeah, Jim Lee and Bonnie are going to be bummed. They're going to be like, wait, we didn't get to hang out. Okay, so again, this is what we did. Now here's what we did Wednesday. And I gave you homework to do this one, or you could do the D minor one. Okay? So this was Wednesdays. This is A minor and C major. And you can see I circled the C's and I X'd out the A's. So if you line up the scale with one of those notes, you can get your major minor pentatonics. And we can do the same on this one. No, too much light. There we go. Okay, so it should look like that. And it's up in the Discord, and we're going to make some notes on that. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of playing over E minor and G major. And I'll just try to call out the scales I'm using. So this is 2 to 3 to 4. Five. 1. Oh, I added a note. Back to 5. Down to 2, 1. I can go on one string. Third string. Oops. So yeah, it's learning the pentatonics up and down the neck are great, but again, you can also learn them linearly on each individual string. So that's why I think this exercise is so great. So if you want homework, we may do this. We may do this on Wednesday. Well, you know what I talked about doing was going back through all the pentatonics and adding the blues note, okay? And the blues note is, in E minor would be, so we have E, G, A, B, D, okay? The blues note is the half step in between A and B. So here's what E, A, G, A, so G, E, G, A, B, D, E. Okay, it's the bottom, basically 3 strings of the pentatonic number 1. And so you just play the note in between the A and the B, okay? And that's the note between the 4th of the scale and the 5th of the scale. And the way we get those numbers are if we counted up the diatonic scale, okay? We think of everything in diatonic scales as far as numbering. So, so in other words, E is 1, but G is not 2. G is actually 3, even though it's the second note in the pentatonic. In the diatonic, there would be a, for example, in E minor, there would be a F sharp before that. would be a diatonic minor scale. So G is the third, A is the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I almost can sing this low. In the morning, I can get that low E. 1, 1, 1. It's just 2, 3, 4. So in between the 4 and the 5 is this. You can think of it as an A sharp. I like to think of it as a B flat. I don't know why, but it just makes more sense to think of it as a flat 5 than a sharp 4. But there's so many songs that use the blues scale that it just makes sense to take the knowledge that we've just attained in the last couple of weeks and add one note, only one thing. I like to keep it. I like to keep. This is for me, not for you. I like to keep things I'm learning. Just add little incremental things to it. Not like try to. Okay, I'm going to memorize the dictionary today. You know, kind of thing. No, it's just one little note. The problem is that note's going to occur all over the fretboard, and we could do that. We could take these and maybe, you know, you could actually, that would be a good one to make a blue note. You know, I said about making the E a blue, but a blue dot, but you could actually take a blue pen out and mark all the all the B flats on the, and you would see that relationship between the 4 and the 5 all over the guitar. Oops. It sounds like a Guns N' Roses song. Doesn't it? I need wah-wah. Yeah. Gotta have the wah to do the Guns N' Roses thing. All right, so, okay, let me take a minute just to say hellos to people. I think I've said it. Love to see you, Tony. That's awesome. Holly, great to have you. Appreciate it. You're late, but you made it. Yeah, I hope this time is good. Definitely, it's very slashy. That, you know, I mean, not like he invented the blues note, but he definitely made more. He's made more money off that note than pretty much anyone. Let's put it that way. So. Let's see. Oh, hey, Tom. Nice. Oh, is it, or Joe, I'm sorry, Joe. Good to see you. Mugu Mugu's in the house. Thank you. On lunch break. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I moved it. This is the first day on the new time, 9 o'clock my time. So it's a little, I had to set the alarm and I didn't think, there's no way I'm going to, you know, I'll wake up before the alarm. And of course I didn't. I slept right to the alarm. It woke me up and that's okay. I'm trying to be my chipper self. Hopefully I'm succeeding. You know, did we talk about this last week? I think I saw a headline. I didn't read the article, but it was a headline basically saying that if you smile, even if you're in a bad mood or if you're sad, it'll fool your brain into thinking you're happy and you'll start to feel happy just by smiling. That's crazy, right? But it kind of plays into the same realization that I have about watching these like YouTube kids, like these bluegrass kids that can just shred, or these heavy metal kids that can shred, right? And, you know, we're all tempted to look at their hands and go, oh my gosh, look at the kid. He can play so fast. You know, they could be 12, 15, 18, 20. It doesn't matter. They're just like, they're monsters at speed. It's like crazy. The flamenco stuff, okay? It's real tempting to look at their hands, but what you really need to look at is their face. And what I noticed was every one of them looked completely bored. And I realized that one of the tricks to playing fast, if you are thinking about it, right? You know, it's a chicken and egg thing, you know, which comes first. But if you're overthinking something, or you're thinking about it, or focus too much on it, you're gonna tense up. Okay. So what these kids do, you know, they're just like, you know, they're just like, whatever. But if I'm like looking at my, I'm like, oh, look at this. Whoa, what am I doing? Oh my God, I screw up. You know, and so it is funny. It's like you almost have to disconnect your body. It's almost like you're having an out of body experience. And I just noticed that across the board, the kids are all like look super bored. Yeah, fake it till you make it. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, it was when I started leading worship. I mean, when I was leading worship at Shepherd and doing 5 services every weekend, trust me, I guarantee you, every single time, you know, there's no way I feel like worshiping all 5 services. And so I had to fake it because what am I going to do? Get up there and go, I really don't want to do this right now. I'm not in the mood, but here you go. You know, I had 1,500 people out there. So I was like, no, you just fake it. And then by the end of the set, you're worshiping God. You're kneeling at the cross. You're you know, and that's a whole, you know, it's like, whoa, that's a whole nother level right there. Yeah, John Mayer does look like he's having a stroke. Yeah, and I'm talking about the shredder, the fast things. Plain blues, things like that. No. If you're playing something simple or you're singing, basically. See, I don't really feel like these shredder kids that are doing, you know, they're singing that. Okay, do you understand? So that's the difference. The that I'm really thinking melodically and trying to create an idea. That's different than if I'm just going to I try to disconnect all of this here from what I'm doing down here and just let my hands do what they're going to do. So that's the difference. Yeah, but John Mayer definitely looks like he has a stroke. All right, so I don't have any questions. Anybody got any questions for me this morning? Because I feel like I'm kind of we've got this. The only thing I want to do is maybe go through and mark all of the E's and A's, and then I'll scan it again. I'm sorry, E's and G's. So the E's, and so and the other thing. So this, if I were to reference, see, that would be G major pentatonic. So it's the same scale, just starting on G, G, A, B, and you can see the major triad here, the G, B, D. That's a major chord. Let's see. Now I'm going to do something here on this. Okay, one thing, I'm going to change to my pseudo Pat Metheny sound, right? Now on this chord progression here, I have E minor, and then further in it goes to G major. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this second chord, instead of being G major, I'm going to make it C major. All right. So I'm going to go. No. Okay. So when it gets to the change after, well, is that 14 bars, which is totally random. When I get to the change, it's going to be a C major chord, but I'm still going to play E minor pentatonics. Okay. So it's going to be this chord, but I'm going to be playing. What am I going to be playing? Yeah. And so what's going to happen is by playing the E minor pentatonic, let me change this back. Okay, by playing the E minor pentatonic over C, I'm creating kind of a major sound, major seventh sound. Okay, so I didn't change the pentatonic shape that I played. I played the exact same pentatonic shape, but it had a whole different sound. Okay, it's kind of like, okay, and I don't have my mug, it's being washed. So there will not be a quiz on this. So take a sip, everybody take a celebratory sip. But it's kind of like the common jazz trick where you take what I would call a drone note. You would say like we're in the key, and I'm playing G on top of it. Okay, so not all I did, but what I did was I took different chords descending, but made sure that the top note was always a G note. Until I got there. And so that G note had a different relationship to the root of each of these chords. It's the fourth of this one, it's the sharp 4 of this one, or flat 5, it's the 5 of this one, it's the sharp 5, it's the 6, it's a dominant 7th, it's a major 7th, and it's the root. And so even though that note, the melody didn't change, the sound of that note changed because the chord around it, its relationship to the chord it's over changed. Nothing changed here from here to here, okay, on the melody, but that note sounds completely different over that chord or this chord than this chord. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, check this out. I'm going to go, instead of to a C chord, we're going to go to an F chord. All right, this is the magic of pentatonics, because pentatonics are kind of, okay, I've never said this before. Maybe, I don't know, there's probably a reason. But pentatonics are kind of like saying maybe, okay? They're kind of vague, right? Hey, do you want to go out tonight? You want to go hang out tonight? Maybe, you know. And so you're leaving your options open. When you're playing a pentatonic scale, you've got more options. So obviously E minor pentatonic is going to work over an E minor chord. But it'll also sound interesting over an F major chord. And I'm keeping this an F major chord, okay, just an F pure chord. I could turn it into like a major 7 with a sharp 11 kind of thing and make it more friendly to, and I could do that here in a second, but I can make it more friendly to E minor pentatonic. But I'm going to go ahead and go with a pure F major chord, and I'm going to keep playing E minor pentatonic, and the E minor pentatonic, it's going to sound like I'm playing a different scale. But I'm not. I'm playing the exact same scale, but it just has a different relationship to the chord I'm playing over. Okay, so here we go. E minor for 14 bars, whatever. Only one of these notes is actually in the F chord. Or no, 2. No, I don't have a C in here. Just 1, A. Perhaps, yeah, exactly. So now I'm back to the E minor, so it sounds very in the pocket, very inside. And like I said, the only note that's going to work in the F chord is the A, technically. The only note that's in the chord. So now I'm over F, and it simply sounds more interesting. But I didn't have to change anything. So all my rock and roll licks over E minor pentatonic works over this. Here's the blue note. Right? Okay. So enough of me jamming. Looking bored. Yeah, but you can see how that E minor pentatonic sounds really cool over the F chord. You're like, you would never think that. It would be the last scale you would go to. Now, that's a more jazz context. Let me see what it sounds like with a rock tone just for a second here, okay? It still will be good. It'll sound very, obviously shreddy, but it's also going to sound a little bit more on the, hold on, let me get here. On the progressive. Kind of more fusion sound. Definitely sounds more progressive or prog rock or fusiony with the heavy gain. But the point is that it creates a completely different, so you can experiment with this. I mean, I think if you play B major, it would be very weird. It might not work so much, but that's the other thing. Over the F, if I was playing over F, like with the E minor pentatonic, doesn't mean I can't play an F. So at some point I could go. If you can find an F, which is just one fret away from the E, you can find a note. So now you shred, backing tracks. Oh yeah, oh perfect. Happy 24th. Wait, what? What's happened 24th? So yeah, that video Alex and I did yesterday. We did 2 videos yesterday. One on harmonizing with another guitar player. So what I'm gonna talk about is how you use a capo to harmonize when someone else is strumming. You can play different shapes. And I'm talking about 2 things mainly: the caged method and kind of the Nashville numbering system in a vague, not going super specific on that. But yeah, so that one will post tomorrow at 9 as a premiere. And so you'll be able to make comments, I think, while it's streaming the first time. And then I'm not sure if those comments turn into comments. I think I think we could do a live chat. I'll try to remember to be there if I can. And then, so then we can chat together. And then when it's over, maybe chat a little longer. But for the most part, we'll see what happens. It's kind of new for me. I've done it once before. I think there was only one other person watching the premiere. I was like, really? I like the screen cap too. I got of that with me and Alex laughing. So that's pretty fun. Feel free to post that. Yeah, we can all use those jam tracks. I should do more of those. Those actually get pretty good spin, some of my jam tracks, which is crazy. I've had people ask if they could download them. I mean, it's just the bluegrass ones I did. And there's billions of those out there. I don't know, so let's see, what else? Any questions? Oh, pentatonics. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're waiting a good story. Dang it. Well, let me see if I can find someone who can tell you a good story. Diane's not here. I have yet to see Diane. If I go all the way to 11, then everybody's going to log in and it's going to be like, wait, you're done? I don't think I'm going to make it to 11 because I'm already to the story time. Are you kidding me? Now, I texted myself some stories the other day. Got some blackouts here. There we go. Bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, 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 boom. Okay, I told you about Mac and Fleas. We did that one. Did the Kenny Loggins thing. Branson. What's just the Branson story? This is actually, the Branson story is actually not a funny story per se. I used it in my series on, and if you're interested in becoming a full-time musician, I need to do more of these. Someone just came, I was just talking to somebody who had watched all of my videos on this, the business of making music. This one here. I need to do some more of these. So this is my playlist called The Business of Making Music. Like I said, I need to do some more of these. Uh-oh, did something just quit? No. All right. Here's the playlist. And this is tips for anybody who wants to be a musician or in the music business. To be honest, it's kind of, you could probably translate it into any business, particularly any business where you're self-employed. And because it is a challenging thing, and it's even more so in California when they passed AB 5. Now, musicians got a carve out, but it's still an awful, awful law. And it was designed to go after, well, the thinking among a lot of politicians is that people who are self-employed write off everything and they don't pay any taxes. And I've known some people that get creative with write-offs, and I do tell people, look, you have to declare every dollar you make, because they'll throw you in jail for not declaring income, but they'll just slap you on the wrist and fine you for over-deducting, generally. And I don't over-deduct, and I declare everything. So, in fact, I probably under-deduct. There's a lot of receipts I forget to keep or whatever, and I don't have, and I forget that I took someone to dinner or I bought this piece of gear or whatever. So I guarantee you that I under write off. But the nice thing about this business is, like, if I was an employee and I bought a new guitar, I can't write that off. So what's my incentive to get more and more gear? And so, my incentive is, not really the write-off. I rarely buy gear for the write-off. I've done it a couple times and regretted it generally. I buy gear because I need something. It's something I need. I need a new socket wrench, essentially, for my business. And I will be I'm probably going to get a new Mac this year. That's probably my big expenditure. My iMac, I think it's about time to get a new one. That's it's what I'm using most of the time, and it occasionally slows down. So that said, and I can get rid of this now. Yes. I don't need this. I could use a little more light. Right? That's better. But I use the story kind of in my in that channel. I think it was on the branding video. Guard Your Brand is what it was called. Oh, what about capital gains on vintage? Actually, it's not cap gains. If I write off, like, say I buy a guitar for $1,000 and I write it off that year, and then I sell it for $10,000, I don't have to declare the $9,000. I have to declare all $10,000 because I actually got a tax benefit from buying it in the first place. I don't plan on selling anything, so anytime I do sell something, I declare 100% of the proceeds as income. Yeah, because I already wrote it off. So that's the right thing to do. And so let's see, wait. Yeah, I mean, I write off everything I can write off, but at the same time, I'm not gonna, I won't, I can't name names here, but I had a friend that had a recording studio / rehearsal studio, and because they ran it, they basically were there, 7 days a week. They had a room there that was kind of like a living room. They had TV and desk, and they had internet and everything, and they had a kitchen in there. And 100% of the food that they bought for the studio, they wrote off, but they were there for every meal. So literally, they were writing off for themselves and their son 100% of their food because it was part of the studio. And I'm like, that's kind of fudge. That's one of the areas where that's the kind of area where people, where legislators get busy and they start going, well, you can't write off it, blah blah blah. So. But AB 5, horrible law. They were trying to basically get Uber and Lyft in trouble, and they ended up ensnaring over 300 different businesses, and you have entire businesses not able to, total sales call, hundreds of businesses, people, journalists were only allowed to write 35 articles for one. I don't know if that was per client or total. And so now, because journalists, they have a lot of power to the pen, all of a sudden, they're getting a carve out now. It starts September 1st, they're allowed to do more articles, Musicians, they were originally snagged up, and so you had entire, like, I read a story where the guy had a music store. He had 5 students in 5 teachers in working at his store, and that was his job. He owned the building. He got the students. He booked it. He scheduled everything. He had this waiting area. He sold strings and books and things like that. And he had 5 teachers. And January 1st, he was going to have to hire them as employees because he was paying them, but he was just paying them a percentage of the lesson price. Exactly how I started out. And he ran the numbers, and the workers' comp bill alone for those 5 guitar players was going to be $95,000. He clears $85,000 gross every year on that. So it was going to be $10,000 more than he makes just for workers' comp. That didn't include unemployment insurance, mandatory health insurance, all that other stuff, minimum wage protections, which he was paying them more than minimum wage. But in order to basically... He was paying them a lot more than minimum wage. They were all making $40 an hour or something like that. But the only way he could even marginally afford to do it was to pay them $15 an hour. And then they would have workers' comp. But it's like, what guitar teacher needs workers' comp? It's not like he's scaling walking on an I-beam or something. It's just like, it's unbelievable. So basically, he had to shut down his business. He lost his business. All those teachers had to go, and they didn't really have a problem. They just went and started teaching from home. So that didn't stop. But technically, did the law ensnare those parents of those kids? Did they have to hire those guitar teachers as employees? They were worried, okay, what about nannies and what about babysitters? But it was also, I even heard like a sheep shearer. She goes around and would shear sheep. One day she'd be working on this farm, the next day she'd be working on this farm, the next day the next farm. And she made a lot of money, and deep 6 figures. And the farmers were concerned that they were going to have to pay her, workman's comp and all this stuff. So it's a horrible, horrible law written by a woman that is literally was a union organizer before she became a legislator. And the whole goal of it was to try to unionize all of these Uber drivers, and they do not want to. 92% of Uber drivers drive less than 30 hours a week. I met a driver who basically only drove from Santa Monica to Valencia once a day. from work. He worked in Santa Monica, and he would turn on his Uber, and you can set it so it's basically those parameters. So he would take someone back to like Van Nuys or Northridge or even Santa Clarita, or even if he was lucky, all the way to Valencia, and he would make 40 or 50 or 60 bucks just driving home from work every day. And it was like, yeah, he doesn't want to be an employee of Uber or Lyft or anything. So they threatened to shut down on Friday at midnight. Well, not threatened. They were going to shut down because under the new parameters that a judge ruled they had to follow, they couldn't make any money in California. So they're like, and they're like, oh, well, that California represents 17% of your business. The problem with that is, though, that 17%, yes, but they don't make any profit on that 17% of the business because they have so many rules that they have to already follow. And it was the cab drivers union that got this bill passed in the first place. They donated a ton of money, and that's the other thing that's so stupid about the cab union is I will never take a cab. I mean, I love Uber. I've taken Lyft. I love using it. I will, hopefully use it. If not, you'll start seeing people call friends for rides. I've got, I can get the numbers of Uber drivers. I'll be like, if Uber can't hire them, just like that guitar store can't have guitar teachers, I'll get the number for the guitar teacher and I'll just have him take me where I want him to go, and I'll pay him what he wants. I'm not going to go to a cab. The reason there's no train going to LAX is because of the cab drivers union. Someone said, oh, you shouldn't drive to the airport. You should take the metro. And I'm like, how do I take the metro to the airport? Oh, well, you take from Pasadena, you take the gold line to the red line to the blue line to the purple line. And at the end of the purple line, there's a bus or you can get a cab and it'll take you to the airport. And I didn't do it, but I was like, no. Even on the worst traffic, it'll only take me an hour and a half to get to LAX. And that's the worst traffic. That was going to take 3.5 hours. I'm like, no. And that's a testimony to this, LA is a giant spread out. You can't, metro, they never should have done the metro thing. What they should have done is just kept building freeways, expect electric cars, because they wanted to try to cut back on pollution. Just, spend that money buying electric cars for poor people. That's what you do. And you would have, all the money, the billions and billions they've spent on public transport, they could have given every poor person an electric car. And they would have, it just built more freeways. So let's see. What's it? Interesting. Yeah, I think that may be the, that may be the trend. And really, they're saying that Uber and Lyft are driving companies, and that's why those are employees. And they're independent contractors, in my opinion, still, because they're driving their own cars. If they provided the car, that would be different. That's what taxi cab companies do. Generally, the cars that the cab drivers, not all, but a good percentage of cab drivers drive company-owned cars. So that is an employee situation, different thing. And Uber and Lyft had to raise their prices when insurance was required for them to pay for the insurance, so they had to add $1 or $2 to every fare to accommodate the insurance, the added liability. And insurance companies don't like it if you're driving for Uber or Lyft. They don't, because you're going to be putting a lot of miles on your car. Oh, you make 50 cents a mile? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it works, in LA, if you're driving in places where there's not a lot of traffic, then 50 cents a mile makes sense. In LA, and the cool thing about that, Denise, you can write off 56.5 cents per mile on your taxes. So all of that income is right there is a complete write-off. Because I write off, that's one of my write-offs if I'm driving to a session. If I'm driving to a salary gig, you can't write it off. But if I'm driving to a self-employment gig, you can write it off. So the cabs charge 3 times, or Uber charges 3 times? Because Uber's not going to survive if they're charging 3 times what cab drivers are charging. But the great thing about Uber that really was the game changer is the rating system. You rate them and they rate you. And you're not, if you've got a 1-star, they're not going to pick you up. And if the driver has a 1-star, you're going to move on to a different driver. Well, they're not going to survive with a 1-star. They're not going to have a job. I mean, heck, if they get down to 4 stars, so everybody's on their best behavior. Cab drivers don't have that pressure. And I've heard too many stories of people being ripped off by cab drivers where they'll drive, you know, they'll take the long way there, or they'll overcharge, you know. Yeah, yeah, and cab drivers, of course, aren't getting all $50 either. So, yeah, cabs are. It's a totally, and you know, it's an old business model. It's just like the black taxis. What are they called in London? What are the cabs in London? They literally go to school for 3 years to memorize all the roads in London. You have to have this. Well, technology comes along, and now everyone has all the roads memorized. It's called GPS, right? Flat top. Oh, it's a G&L. Sorry. It's like, is this a guitar channel? Okay. It's a legacy special by G&L. I got it in 1997 because I was going to be teaching clinics for Maranatha. So I wanted a guitar that could do rock. And so I think I got this from Manny's in New York. I ordered it online. It was one of the first online or catalog purchases that I'd ever done. And it's a great guitar. I use it all the time, as everybody here can testify. So my whole point about bringing up the whole AB5 and Uber and Lyft is because I'm talking about being a freelance musician. And in California, of course, because musicians write songs and singers and songwriters and bands write songs, it started to get a lot of bad press in the media where people were saying, oh, yeah, you know, I can't work anymore. I can't work because of this lady who wrote this horrible bill for California, and nobody will hire me because they don't want to pay, you know. And so they did what's called a carve-out for musicians. So now we're exempt from the bill. And it's just funny. They're applying this, what's called the ABC test, which a judge came up with. Again, so much of this stuff is not legislated. So much of it was judicial caveats. And to be honest, I don't think that's the way to do things. You got to have elected officials legislate these things. So basically, they rendered about 1.5 million people in California unemployed overnight, January 1st, and then COVID hit. But you had literally like editors and writing, you know, videographers and people like that, journalists, translators. That's a big one. Translators are mostly all self-employed. Even the translators you see, they're doing the translations for the deaf and everything. They're all self-employed, and so it's so funny to see these city officials. They're using translators, and it's like they're self-employed, but they're illegal. You're illegally hiring them. It's just this hypocrisy is insane. And so you would go to a website to get where you would get your gigs, like as a translator. Say you spoke Finnish and you wanted to be able to translate work for. And I have a friend that works for Netflix translating movies into Finnish. And he makes a lot of money doing that. It's a great, it pays his mortgage. And he, you know, if he was in California, you would pull down, you're filling out the application and you pull down the state you're from and there's no California. If you live in California, you can't do it. It's like, are you crazy? And they passed the same, the Congress in D.C. passed the exact same bill, but the Senate refused to bring it up for a vote. So it's called the PRO Act. So make sure you know that everyone should be against the PRO Act, because it would literally affect hundreds and hundreds of professions. And guess who was exempted? Lawyers, doctors, and real estate agents. And who has big unions? Lawyers, doctors, or not unions, but big lobbying groups in Sacramento, in my case, and in D.C. Lawyers, doctors, and real estate agents. They all got exempted from the self-employment thing. So, hey, Klaus, how's it going? Okay, so my story today is kind of roughly based on that. Okay, we've already done the lesson. We started at 9 o'clock. That's our new time. What we did was we went through this and we took a blank one of these and put a dot on every, in this case, we did E minor pentatonic, so it was E's, G's, A's, B's, and D's. And we put them all there. So, question from Laptop. Oh yeah, no, we got that. Okay. So yeah, I'll write that down. It's a G&L. Stands for George and Leo. G and L Legacy Special. I think they still make it. Basically, a Legacy would be single coils. A Legacy Special has the humbuckers, and these are all original. These are not pickups that I put in it. They came with it. Those are the original pickups. Everything's original on this guitar, except for the whammy bar. Somewhere I left the whammy bar at a session, so I had to buy a new one. And welcome Claus, yes. So back in '94, after the Northridge quake and the riots in '92, I think there was a lot of stuff going on in LA. Everything was getting expensive. It was just crazy. And a lot of people who own houses out here saw their house prices skyrocket. And then we started to see things change when with the peace dividend from the Iron Curtain coming down, they closed, I think, 6 bases in California. So you start to see the California economy go down in the 90s a little bit, especially with the earthquake and then the Rodney King riots. And then, so we had a lot of our friends, they wanted to move to Nashville. A lot of people, particularly in the Christian music business, but people in the music business in general decided to uproot and move to Nashville. And almost all of them would say they were so glad they did. So, and unfortunately, some of those people, well, one in particular was one of the first composers and only composers I was working for at the time. So I was kind of bummed because I finally was starting to work on some TV and film stuff, and now the guy was moving to Nashville. And this is before the internet, so I wasn't able to do any work for him. And they wanted us to move to Nashville. Beth was babysitting their kids. Beth was pregnant with our second kid, or just had Jack in '94. And so we had two little boys, and they... oh, nice. Klaus, sorry, we're totally not on music right now. Sorry about that. Oh, hey, Joe. And so they... Nashville... I moved to LA in '83, so I'd been here over 10 years at that point. Nashville... I'm not a very good country player, and I just felt like if I was going to succeed in Nashville, I'd have to be able to shred on the country thing. But in the news a lot was this place called Branson, Missouri. And in Branson, they had all these theaters. And I started reading up on it, reading articles, finding articles, and this is, again, before I was going to the library and reading magazine and newspaper articles. Crazy. And digging up stories and cutting out articles, buying magazines that had anything to do with Branson, but it was on the cover of Time or something like that. So started reading about it, and it was kind of rural area. It was near, not the Lake of the Ozarks necessarily, but it was in the, there's another lake below it. I can't think of what it's called. Finger Lakes in Arkansas, I think. And I thought, well, it turns out at that time, I don't know where it is now, I haven't really researched it all. They had something like 30 theaters with live music in this one town. So Andy Williams had a theater. He would do 6 shows a week. I think Glenn Campbell had a theater. There were all these pretty, at one time, very famous country artists or even Vegas people that said, no, we'll just build a mansion here somewhere, and we'll just build a theater, and people will come to us instead of us going to them. And so I thought, I started some research. I went to the library. I found the phone book for the area. I wrote down every number for every theater. I called every theater, got the music director's name and the guitar players, and I literally, in the month of May of that year, 1994, my phone bill was huge in June. Because that was back when you got charged by the second, whatever it was, 10 cents a minute or whatever. And I kid you not, every single and I even called a realtor to start looking for houses, because I thought we could actually, because these jobs paid like 80 grand a year, and or the MD job paid like 80 grand a year. And I could buy a house for 80 grand out there with 4 bedrooms and a dock on a lake. I mean, I could be skiing every morning before going to work. So So I started calling. I called every one of these guitar players that I could get the number for. Probably talked to 20, 25 guitar players. Without fail, every single one of them said, man, what's LA like? I really want to move there. Every one of them. Because they were all young kids that, I don't know, they were probably just graduated from North Texas State or University of Miami or Berkeley and Boston. Somehow maybe they were from Nashville and they got this gig, and they all complained about the traffic. You know, there's a little town in southern Missouri, and they said, yeah, it can take us an hour to get to work every morning. An hour because of all the buses everywhere. I'm like, you're kidding. He said, yeah, there's one road in and out of that town. And then keep in mind, this is an 84, 1980, or sorry, 94 Vito. So yeah, 80,000. The same house is probably going for 200, 300 right now or less, And so it was funny. For me, it was a giant reset. It was kind of like, okay, I made the right decision 10 years ago to go to LA. Now I just need to maximize it. And what I realized was that in 1 month's time, I got to know almost every music director and guitar player in Branson over the phone. And I was like, why did I not do that in LA, right? Why did I not do that, make that same effort to meet as many people in LA as I just did for Branson, a place I don't even live? So I'm back to the library, pulling up, it's funny because I pulled up, all the yellow pages and looked up composers, and they were in there. Not John Williams, mind you, but a lot of composers were in the yellow pages, because that's a lot of times I need a composer for my industrial, for my, my corporation. Intel needs an industrial film or whatever. Apple's computer needs, and so I'll touch my face so we can take a sip. And 35 watching, what? That's pretty good for story time. We had less for the lesson. And so I started to just write down numbers out of the phone book of composers. I tried to think of, ad agency. I tried to anybody I could think of that would hire a guitar player. And at that point, my dreams of being in a successful band were kind of getting dashed. At that point, I was 33 years old. My wife and I had a band, but we weren't playing very much. Any previous bands I was part of was over. So I was concentrating more on doing session work, and I was still doing a lot of church work, but I could do that anywhere. Churches everywhere. So that wasn't a priority. And this is before I was doing clinics. This was still like 3 years before I got the clinics. So, but I had done some work. I'd done some records, and everything was on cassettes, and I bought a double cassette deck so I could record from one to the other. And I created a mixtape of examples of my work. And to be completely honest, they were horrible. Okay, my tone wasn't very good. My playing was mediocre. The composers, the people I was working for, the records weren't very good. The quality of the work that I was being asked to play on wasn't very good. So what I did was I just created this mixtape that I should have titled "Why You Shouldn't Hire Me." Instead, my name's on it, and I got anyone who would answer their phone on this list, and would give me their address. I would send them my demo reel, and I literally blanketed LA with the worst demo I possibly could have. And what's funny is I've since worked for some of those composers. I'm pretty sure Steve Jablonski was one of them. He doesn't remember getting it. But the only reason I know that is because I was going through old phone books back when we used to have to write things out and we didn't have them on our phone. And I saw Steve's number in there, and I went, oh my gosh, did I call him and send him a tape? I'm like, unbelievable. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad he forgot my name. Thankfully, I have a forgettable name. But that is, yeah, that's my Branson story. Branson inspired me, and so the story, the video I did for this, that I actually talk about this, I think, is called "Guard Your Brand," and the lesson from that is, you know, don't let people hear work that's subpar. You know, try to always do your best, and then you get, you know, because too many people will put, you know, too many musicians on YouTube or artists or whatever will put really mediocre stuff up there because they either want to post like every week, or they've got the song, they really thought this was a wonderful song and they want to get it up there. You know, it's really, really tough. Hey, John from Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, well, John Yakomatis, I'm not sure if I'm saying that, Yakomatis, is, we're at 9 a.m. now, which will be noon, no, yeah, noon in Louisville. I'm so bummed I'm not going to Louisville next month. I've been to Louisville the last 3 Septembers and just loved it. Great time. But we're not going this year, so. So anyway, yeah, exactly, Catherine. It's totally true for all professions. Essentially, with a musician, you know, your resume is some kind of tape or CD back in the day, or you know, now it's a SoundCloud or something like that. I don't really do that. I don't really have to do. What I do. He said do. What I do. Greek. Okay, yeah, it's Yakomatis. I almost was gonna say that, or Japanese. It almost sounds Japanese too. Yes, so just for everybody tuning in, my new time is going to be 9. I'm going to try to do 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. we're going to premiere my video I did with Alex yesterday. I did 2 videos with Alex. One is harmonizing using capos. It's called Harmonizing with Capos. And then we also did one called capo aberrations. Or is that right? I think that's right. Aberration. Wait, is an aberration a ghost? What am I confused? What word am I thinking of? Somebody smarter than me needs to chime in here. Well, pretty much everybody. Hey, Ignatius is back here. How you doing? Good to see you. Regardless, I don't think I got any work in '94 from my demo tapes being sent out, and understandably so. The other thing I did was I joined Musicians Referral Service, which was a thing, and I think it cost me a couple $100. And basically, they just put your name on a card and put it in a box, and then people come over looking for guitar players, and they'd write down numbers. And then, and so I got some calls from that. I think I got some rehearsal band gigs out of it. And other than that, I didn't get any work. Yeah. So aberrations, yeah. Apparition, that's what it. Yeah, John, thank you. Aberration, yeah. We did a. Actually, it's not aberration anyway. It's anomalies. The video is going to be called Capo Anomalies. So I'm just going to talk about weird capos, and this is not one of them. But we're talking about spider capo, which I use all the time. It's a spider capo. So we'll talk about that. I did a video on this a long time ago on spider capos. But we're talking about little mini capos, things like that. So it's just a fun video. We just had a good time doing it, and that's why I did it. Yeah, no, I meant anomalies. It's the word. So I think the title is going to be Capo Anomalies. And then I'm also going to do a video on my signal path, because I get a lot of people asking me about that. So I'm going to do a video on my signal path for my acoustic signal path. Electric is the same, pretty much, but... So what I did today was we did the E minor pentatonic, same as G major pentatonic, and then we bracketed all the shapes. This is up at the Discord. Let me post a link to the Discord. Apparition. Yeah, apparition. Yep. That's what yeah. Exactly. So one more time, I'm going to grab the Discord link. It's right here. And I'm going to try to make this permanent. So It says set this link to never expire, so we'll see. And then hopefully if you watch, somebody new watches this video in a month, they'll be able to click on that link and join up. Okay, so I created a little, like a pad in Logic, just E minor, and then this one's F major. Let me knock this down an octave so it makes more sense. Nah, it's fine. So I'm gonna play, I did this before, I'm gonna play with a gainy sound, a Guitar God sound. E minor pentatonics. And the chord's gonna go from E minor to F major. And the F major chord is an F, an A, and a C. The only note in that chord that's in the E minor pentatonic is the A. There's an E, which is the 7th. Okay. There's a G, which is the 9th of F. There's an A, which is the 3rd. There's a B, which is the sharp 11. Beautiful note, right? And that I love. Beautiful. And then also a D, which is the 6th. So by default, 4 of the 5 notes in E minor pentatonic are not in the F chord, but are all beautiful notes over the F chord. Okay? So check this out. And it's 14 bars of one each. So here's E minor. And all of these notes pretty much work. There's the one note that works. Or that's actually inside. Everything else is outside. It wants to go to. It wants to go to C, but C is not in the pentatonic. Back to E minor. All these notes work. Fun with whammy bars. All I'm doing is I'm hitting the whammy bar at the same time I'm hitting the string, basically. An Alan Holdsworth trick. Anyway. I love the tremolo on this guitar. It's always been just perfect, much smoother than a typical Fender Strat. So, all right. So that you got my story. I didn't quite make it to 11, so people are going to be logging in thinking I'm going to be live, and it's like they're going to miss me. Tom Robinson. I tried to download Logic, but it wouldn't work on my 2014 iMac. It's funny because I have a 2014 iMac. That's what I'm using, but it's been updated. So probably, maybe, you need to update. The copper is copper colored, but that's a baritone. That Telecaster is it's a baritone Telecaster, or Telecaster baritone. PreSonus. What's the PreSonus? Is it PreSonus? PreSonus? Studio One. Try Studio One, see if that works. I think that's what Alex uses. And it may be free. Studio One 5. But Alex uses, my son Alex really loves PreSonus. And like any software, you're going to eventually be upgrading and buying new stuff and spending more money. But Logic is great because it, they don't ask you, they're never asking you to spend more money. I do not want to do Logic or any kind of, yeah, okay, Vito's agreeing. Or Ableton. Ableton's another good one. Yeah, Studio One is free. Oh, Reaper's another good one. Thank you, Joe. Yep, Reaper's a great one. Oh, question by Vito. Playing with a friend. Where was that? Oh, Tom, what would you suggest capo versus alternative tuning when playing with a friend? Well, watch the video tomorrow. I think that'll answer that question. As far as alternate tunings, that's tough when playing with someone else. Okay, you'll notice that most alternate tuning people tend to be solo fingerstyle guitar players, right? Yeah, alternate tuning definitely tends to be kind of a solitary endeavor. But I mean, you could have two guys playing dadgad. That's not a big deal. I'm sure that happens. But and if you work up a song, But as far as like on the fly, quickly going back and forth, you'll see Alex and I just quickly go back and forth between different capo positions, it's definitely makes it nice to have two different sounds, two different tone qualities, and you could alternate where one guy's playing open position on this song, the other guy's at the 7th fret, and the next song you reverse that so that you're not always playing up here, up high up the neck. But yeah, as far as doing two people different, I've never done anything where I've had two guitar players playing in open tunings. I don't really use open tunings that much. I get asked a lot about it, so I end up doing videos on it. I'm not per se an expert, which actually makes me good for teaching beginners. I try not to get over. I don't know if you saw my new video I did last week. I think it came out, the introduction to dadgad. I felt like it was a really good video. Just not getting many spins, but most of my dadgad videos do very well. In fact, what I need to do is put a card in. I forgot about that. I need to put a card in my new video here. Let's see, videos, options, get a shareable link, copy to clipboard, and then if I go to my channel, I've got some fun scales. That one's not done. So here, play most any song in dadgad. See, this is the one I should probably add a card to. Cards. Oh, wow, I've already done. Can I add another card right there? Try. Yeah, here we go. All right, so hopefully, because this video gets a lot of spins, play most any song in dadgad, and people get mad. Play most. I could change it so it says play almost any song, but I don't want to because it cracks me up that people got mad that I said most instead of almost. This one also, I can put a card in. So you guys it's like watching an episode of CSI. I'm on a computer. It's a card here. Try to get more spins on this because it's not even gotten 1,000 spins, which is a bummer. Feel like it's a good video, but all right. No, this is what I want. This, okay. So tomorrow tomorrow premieres the new video Alex and I did on harmonizing using capos, and then let's see. I need looser shirts. And then I'll be back. My plan is to be back, and I will try to be there. I set it as a premiere so that we can chat while you watch the video. And then I plan to be back Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. Schedule. Here's the thing. Remember, Friday I canceled because I got a session. Well, I did have a session Friday. I got 2 songs done with this artist, which is great. Actually, we got to do electric still, but there's not much to do there. The session didn't start till 11, and it was close. So I didn't really leave here until 10:45. So I could have done an hour live stream on Friday if I was at the 9 o'clock time. So my hope is that moving to 9 o'clock, it'll allow me to do more days, get more done with my day, because oftentimes before the 11 o'clock start, I wouldn't get much done because I knew I had an 11 o'clock start. The only negative is that I might be less prepared, because a lot of times I would use the morning to prep any kind of documents or anything like that I wanted to use for the lesson. So I'm touching my face so we can take a sip. I guess I was thirsty. That's why I touched my face. I didn't break too many of the other rules, but that's one of them. If I use air quotes, that's another sippable offense. So take a sip. Yeah, Reaper's great. I know. I'm getting too old to learn a new system. Alex really likes Studio One. If I end up, I'm going to get a new iMac probably this year, because mine is also a 2014 iMac, and it's working fine. But if I run a lot of my BBC orchestra, if I try to do a lot of orchestral stuff, it definitely tends to say, nope, can't handle it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I've got to freeze the tracks, which when you freeze the tracks, you can't make changes to them, unless you unfreeze them, and then you can make changes. But okay, so somebody's asking a question. I love the drone sound. Yeah, DADGAD is really cool that way. Different topic. I changed my strings, and now I have some buzz on the high E. Is it an acoustic guitar, Kathy? Hard to adjust an acoustic guitar, easier on electric. Let's see. Check the nut and make sure it cut well for knee string, and then you may have to adjust your action higher. Yeah, if it's an electric guitar, you can adjust that usually individually. If it's acoustic, it's a toughie to change. It may be a neck adjustment, a slight neck adjustment. MacBook Pros are great. Yes, in Thunderbolt to widescreen, that's totally doable. And I would do that, except I can't look up, so I can't put a screen up there because I have a pinched nerve in my neck, and it radiates pain all up and down my left arm. So I really try not to spend too much time looking up. But MacBook Pros are great, more than powerful enough to handle Logic and any software like that. Yeah, I can't imagine strings would make much of a difference unless you went with like a much lighter gauge. And then what the thing is, a lighter gauge string might, if you went with like a 10 on top, it might vibrate more. The vibrations might be more intense. And so, because my thinking, this is just my non-engineer brain, my thinking is that if it were a heavy string like a 13 or 14, that it would be tighter and wouldn't move as much and would be less likely to hit other frets. If it's a thinner string, thinner strings tend to be buzzier, and I think it's because they tend to move more and then they come in contact. And sometimes you can shim a saddle. You can put something under the saddle and raise it up. I've done that before. You got to be careful with what you put under there, because like if you put it generally should be some kind of wood if you can, or bone, or plastic that's similar to the plastic. But you got to be careful. And if you've got a pickup in there, then that also can cause a problem. You may get uneven string. I had a big problem with my Gibson Dove. the top two strings wouldn't ring out, and they weren't making good contact. The saddle wasn't making good contact with the pickup, the piezo pickup under the saddle. So they had to. It took them a while to get it right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream right before 11 o'clock. Or should I wait? Maybe I should wait till 11 o'clock and see who shows up. I'll get to 11 o'clock and say, goodbye, everyone. I should do that. Actually, you know what? That's 5 minutes away. We can chat for 5 more minutes. The reason that would really help, if anyone shows up, I can say, hey, it's 9 o'clock now, just so you know, I'm at the end. So, yeah, so in fact, we didn't go through this. I can go through this right now and mark all the E's and A's. So I'm going to put X's through the E's on this. Okay, and I'll hold this up when I'm done. Sales call. Oh, no, Alex.
Sorry.
Hey, you're on my live stream.
Oh, always. I feel like I always end up on the live stream. I was at Pavilions and I noticed they had a bunch of caffeine-free Diet Coke. If you buy multiples of 3, it's $5 a pack for the 12 packs of cans.
I think we're good. Bet okay. Your mom bought a bunch. Caffeine-free. Okay. Say bye, Alex.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, thanks, buddy. Okay.
Thanks, bye.
Awesome. Looking at it. Could not find caffeine-free Diet Coke anywhere. So that's usually what I drink after 3 p.m. because I won't sleep if I drink caffeine. Okay. All right. So I think I marked all the E's. Hopefully I didn't mess up. It's kind of hard to do. But I put X's through all the E's. See that? So you can do that. And those would be all your minor roots or blues roots, okay? And then I'm going to circle all the G's because we're in the key of G, so I'm going to circle all the G's, including the open G. G major. The circles are all of the G's. You're welcome, Tom Robinson. Thank you for tuning in. My hair. Yeah, well, I didn't wash it this morning. I don't wash it hardly at all. I just kind of... I remember when I first did the clinics for Maranatha. So here's the... You can see the G's are circled and the E's are X'd. And if you wanted to have fun, you could do like different color pens. If you want to redo this, you could print it up. I uploaded the template for this up to the Discord. So in the Tom's bookmarks, it's in there now. So you can print up as many of those as you want to do all sorts of stuff. So, and I would do homework. Text. Here we go. Homework. Maybe do D minor pentatonic, so it would be D, F, G, A, C. And if you wanted to, you could do B minor. Since we did E minor, we could do B. It would be D, E, B, D, E, F sharp, and A. If you wanted to do those, you could do that. Okay? And then I'll just drag that over here. So if you want to, you could do those. D minor pentatonic and B minor pentatonic. I don't think we're gonna do any more on this. I really wanted to do E minor today. Thanks, Clem. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. Always go to 11 when you can. Exactly, Holly. We're almost to 11 o'clock, so now I'm going to see Bonnie and Jim are going to log in. It's like, wait a minute. So the reason to do, I liked doing E minor was because it was so different than A minor pentatonic. You know, because the P1 or pentatonic 1 was an open position and at the 12th fret right here. Whereas with A minor pentatonic, P1 or pentatonic 1 was here at the 5th fret. So it kind of looks the same, and they're like, what? They're just the same, but they're not. They're totally different. And so you've got two different locations. Yes, it's a relative. Yeah, and same thing with chords. So if you're writing a song, and I don't have a acoustic in here. Let me grab this. If you're writing a song and it's G, C, and I changed guitar so you can take a sip. Everybody take a sip for new guitar. The relative minor to a major chord is down a minor third, which is, okay, you go down a half step and a whole step to find it or whatever. But E minor is technically, E minor pentatonic looks great over G, but E minor chord can be a sub for, we talked about this with chord theory, E minor could be a sub for G. And so if we take that to all three of these chords, A minor could be a sub for C, B minor could be a sub for D. Okay? So, hey Bob, we're done. It's been 2 hours. I've been on for 2 hours now. New time, 9 a.m. Okay, so if the progression is I can sub the melody, whatever melody works over that. We'll work over that. So I'm just subbing all this. So yeah, and the opposite's true. If you're on an E minor and you want to go to the relative major, you just go up a minor third instead of down a minor third. So that's the relative major minor thing. So the notes in an E minor scale are the same as the notes in a G major scale diatonically. Same thing's true for E minor pentatonic, the same as G major. It's just that you start on E, or you think of E as your root. So if you're playing an E minor, you want to land on a few E's every now and then, because then it makes it sound like you know what you're doing. If you're playing a song in the key of G, you want to land on a G every now and then. And so they're the same notes, but the same notes in the two scales, but the only difference is you're going to tend to land on more G's when you're playing in G major, and you're going to tend to land on more E's when you're playing in E minor. So Richard Lawson, okay, so you've been cleaning the garage. Well, now you're going to have to watch this. You're going to have to go back in time and watch this. So I'm logging off now. I'm waiting. Leo, see, Leo just showed up. Jeff just showed up. Bob showed up. It's so funny. So where our new time is, I should put that in here. Okay. New time is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, Richard, thank you again for hanging out. Good to see you. Bruce, thank you for being here. Loving the cigar box guitar. Although I should be careful, right? Maybe I may unbox it and then rebox it and then do an unboxing. What if when I unbox it, I look at it and go, what is this piece of crap? So from now on, I'm going to try to be starting at 9 a.m. if I get up. I had to set. Actually, my alarm got me up this morning, which is kind of a bummer. I was hoping I'd just wake up. Yeah, we'll stay safe. You have a lot of up north. I know it's bad up there, really, really bad. So be careful. You're all wearing masks, so that helps. Yeah, you may have to wear a mask in your house, in your backyard, because the smoke's so bad. I've been there, but fortunately, right now it's not too bad. Yeah. Oh, Pacific. You're right. Is that PSPDT? Okay. See, I didn't know that. It doesn't even look familiar. But anyway. Yes, we're on daylight savings time, which I wish they would get rid of. Wow, it's fine. It's just that one weekend, you know, those weekends where you got to get up early on Sunday morning, like really early. All right, so I'm gonna put this over here. There we go. All right, so I will see you all, hopefully, Lord, well, tomorrow for the premiere. I'll be in the live chat. So I'm premiering a new video that I did called Harmonizing with Capos with Alex. We did 2 videos yesterday. That's one of them. And so that one's posted tomorrow. The other one I may post next week or, yeah, maybe. And feel free to, gosh, go to chat rooms. I mean, like acoustic guitar forum. I hate to promote myself. It's better if you guys do it. So, like, take that Dadgad video that I did, the intro to Dadgad, maybe go to a forum and post it. Anyway, I get a lot of my new subscribers that way, and a lot of them are also from YouTube promoting things. I'm not. Yeah, I don't. In fact, I've got to work on my. I got to work on my Facebook game. I know a lot of you aren't on Facebook, but let's see. Yeah, a lot of you are not on Facebook, so I wrote PST, so it's PDT. I've got to change that. I'm going to delete this post. Delete. Or edit. Oh, I can edit it. Right. I forgot. Okay, here we go. Save. All right. So now that you've watched me Google, I'm going to say goodbye. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, the Facebook thing. You guys get me on sidetrack. The Facebook thing it's amazing. We'll see. I mean, I can promote. I think they're giving me like $15 free promotion. I don't know what that means, but it's maybe it's 15 cents per ad or something. So I'll get 100 placements on 100 people's different. So I could get potentially 100 more followers on Facebook. But if I'm not posting my videos or every time I post a video, if I don't put it up on Facebook, it's not going to drive traffic to my YouTube channel. And I think Facebook limits how many spins you can get on your YouTube videos through their thing. I don't know. So I've heard that. But anyway, I will see. Yeah, I changed. Yeah. So I will see you hopefully tomorrow on chat and then Wednesday live at 9 a.m. And I think we're going to go backwards now. We're going to go back to pentatonic, like A minor pentatonics. Or we could do the G. You know what? I'm wondering if we should do the E minor pentatonics and add the blues notes. Because the reason I'm thinking is this will reinforce the new scales, the new positions. We spent like 8 days on pentatonic or A minor pentatonic, and we've only done 1 day on E minor pentatonic. So maybe because E minor pentatonic is probably even more common than A minor pentatonic. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go pentatonic number 1, we'll add the blues notes, and we have 2 positions, open and then 12th fret. And it's pretty easy, but we'll talk about some licks and stuff like that too in blues, and maybe, I don't know. You guys can help me think of some songs. Also, if you want to, I appreciate all the help. I'm going to post on Mark Wine guitar, Wine, I'm not sure how you say his name, a guitar forum that I did the John Lennon and what's his name, Neil Young strumming grooves. I need to come up with some more of those. I mean, the John Lennon one took off and then just died. When I look at the view count on those, let's see. The view count on the, oh, okay, get rid of that. Yeah, John Lennon's favorite got 7,500 views, but it's hardly getting any now. And then the Neil Young one only got 2,000. I was expecting him to do much better. But I got some good recommendations, mostly old stuff. I kind of wanted, I was trying to see if there was a pattern that Ed Sheeran used a lot. He does definitely have some tendencies, and same with John Mayer. I wouldn't mind doing some younger artists as well. So anyway, that said, I'm going to end the stream. Yeah, I inserted one ad, but it didn't do it live. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. So lesson 104 is going to be on Wednesday. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.